Scene: Yoda and Genghis Khan descend to Rojava. The heavenly louds pulse with defiance, biscuit crumbs sparkle like tiny stars of hope, and the starry steppe constellation Yoda conjured still shines above. Kropotkin and Bookchin are sipping solidarity tea, their debate with Yoda and Genghis Khan having forged a deep bond. The group turns their gaze to Earth, specifically to Rojava, a region in northern Syria where people are living out the theories of democratic confederalism that Bookchin developed, direct democracy, ecological living, and communal cooperation, all rooted in Kropotkin's mutual aid principles. Yoda and Genghis, inspired by Rojava's libertarian spirit, decide to descend and lend their support, using their bravery, excellence, and the warm side of their ideals. Bookchin and Kropotkin, though eager to help, agree that the duo best suited to go down to earth are Genghis with his physical excellence and warrior grit, and Yoda with his brilliant mind and exceptional ideas. Bookchin watching Earth from the lounge, his starry sketches of Rojava glowing with pride. Look at that, Kropotkin! Rojava's living my dreams! Direct democracy, local councils, women and men co-leading as equals, ecology at the heart. It's my communalism in action, a system of equal rights and cooperation built on your mutual aid. They're fighting to survive, surrounded by enemies, but their spirit's unbreakable. They just need a little extra help to endure, to grow. Yoda and Genghis are the ones to go down. They've got the grit, the excellence, and the warm side of liberty we all share. I'll watch from here, cheering them on. Rojava's my heart on earth. I can't wait to see what they do. Kropotkin sipping tea, his beard twinkling with starry crumbs as he nods. A living commune, my mutual aid, evolved by your genius, Murray, and now in practice. Rojava's a beacon, everyone building together, no kings, no bosses, just hands in the dirt, hearts linked. They're brave, those folks, true libertarians fighting for freedom with every breath. I'd love to join them, but you're right, Yoda's ideas and Genghis's strength make them the perfect pair to go down. I'll watch with you, comrade, and dream of the day their experiment blooms across the world. Let's send them off with a biscuit toast, for Rojava's survival and growth. Yoda floating on his cloud, his ears perked as he adjusts his celestial robe for the journey. Ready I am. Rojava, a place of light it is, liberty, warm and true, they live. Force powers I cannot use on earth, rules of heaven they are. But ideas brilliant I have. Warm side of liberty I bring, connection, balance, help for all. Genghis, my friend, strong you are, excellent, a warrior of freedom. Together we go, support Rojava, we will so grow they may. Biscuit I take for the road, Grabs a biscuit, tucking it into his robe with a grin. Genghis Khan standing tall, his fur-lined robe shimmering as he mounts his cloud like a warhorse. Ha! A new conquest, not for land, but for freedom. Rojava fights like my horde. Brave, united, no king above them. Their counsels sound like my yasa, law for all, not one Khan. I'll bring my strength, my meritocracy. Everyone rises, like my shepherds turn generals. Yoda's ideas, my grit, will help them endure, make their dream grow. I'd hate it, call it a moocher's camp, write a 500-page monologue to bury them. But we'll show her. Liberty with a horde's heart. Let's ride, little Jedi, to Rojava, for the warm side of freedom. Raises a biscuit and salute on shows with revolutionary fervor. Kropotkin and Bookchin clinking their teacups with Yoda and Genghis's biscuits, their laughter echoing through the heavens to Rojava. May their experiment thrive. Go, Yoda, Genghis, bring the warm side of liberty to earth. We'll watch from the stars, dreaming with you. The clouds part, and Yoda and Genghis Khan descend to earth, their clouds shimmering as they land in Rojava. The landscape is rugged but vibrant. Communes with eco-friendly gardens, women co-leading council meetings, children playing amidst the greenery, and fighters standing guard, all working together in a spirit of direct democracy. Yoda and Genghis step onto the soil, greeted by a group of Rojava locals who've heard whispers of their arrival, two legendary figures from the heavens, here to help. Rojava local, a woman named Layla, her eyes bright with hope as she welcomes them. Yoda? Genghis Khan? We heard you were coming. Welcome to Rojava. We're building a free society here. Direct democracy, equality, ecology, all inspired by ideas like Bookchin's. But it's hard. Enemies all around, resources tight. We need help to survive, to grow. What can you bring us? We've heard you're true libertarians, brave and excellent. Can you help us keep this dream alive? Yoda tapping his cane on the ground, his ears twitching as he surveys the commune with a wise smile. Brave, you are Layla. Excellent this Rojava is. Direct democracy, equality, warm liberty I see. Force I cannot use here, powers they stay in heaven. But ideas I have, brilliant they are. Jedi way I share, connection, balance, help for all. Counsels you have, strong they are, but stronger they can be. Teach I will, listening deep and true so all voices they glow. Enemies you face, fear they bring, courage you have, more I give. Warm side of liberty we build, together Rojava grows, yes? Genghis Khan planting his boots in the dirt, his eyes scanning the horizon like a steppe warrior. A horde of freedom, I see it in you, Layla. Rojava fights like my clans, united, fierce, no king to bow to. Your counsels are like my yasa, law for all, not one above. I bring my strength, my excellence, meritocracy with heart. Everyone rises, your fighters, your farmers, all can be generals of this dream. Enemies surround you? I've faced worse on the steppe. I'll teach your guards to ride like my riders, strike like my arrows. Resources tight? We'll share, build, grow. Your gardens will feed 1,000 clans. I can call this a beggar's camp. She'd write a 500-page monologue to scorn it. But we'll show her liberty with a horde spirit, warm and strong. Layla smiling, her hands clasped with gratitude. Thank you both. You're legends, but you're here with us. Yoda, your ideas, we'd love to hear them. Our counsels are the heart of Rojava, but sometimes voices get lost. Genghis, your strength, we need it. Our fighters are brave, but they tire. Our gardens grow, but not fast enough. Let's work together. Show us how to endure, how to thrive. The warm side of liberty, that's what we're fighting for. Let's make Rojava a beacon for the world. The scene shifts to a bustling day in Rojava. Yoda sits with the local councils, his tiny frame perched on a crate as he teaches them Jedi-inspired listening techniques. Deep, empathetic, ensuring every voice shines. Genghis works with the fighters, showing them steppe tactics, how to move like the wind, strike with precision, and defend their communes with unyielding grit. Together, they help the gardeners, sharing ideas to make the land bloom faster, feeding the community with abundance. Yoda speaking to a council meeting, his voice gravelly but warm as he gestures with his cane. Listen, you must, deep like Jedi, Every voice a star it is, shine all must, no one dimmed, no one lost. Woman, man, child, all equal, all heard. Conflict there is, balance you find, talk, share, build together. Warm liberty, this is stronger, Rojava becomes. Enemies they come, fear they bring. Courage you have, more you grow. Like Jedi, fight for light, not one but all, Yoda nods, his ears twitching as the council members smile, inspired by his wisdom. Genghis Khan training the fighters, his voice booming as he demonstrates a step maneuver. Move like the wind, strike like the storm. Your enemies think you're weak, show them the horde's heart. No king leads you, just your will, your merit. On the steppe we rode light, strike fast, fade back, never break. You guard this dream, your communes, your gardens, your councils. Fight for all, not one Khan. I can call you fools, she'd write a 500-page monologue to mock your unity. But you'll win. Liberty with teeth, warm and fierce. Now let's make those gardens bloom. Every fighter plants, every planter fights. Genghis grabs a shovel, digging alongside the gardeners, his laughter echoing across the fields. The days pass and Rojava transforms with Yoda and Genghis's help. The councils grow stronger, every voice heard, every decision shared, the warm side of liberty glowing brighter. The fighters, trained by Genghis, defend the communes with steppe-born ferocity. Moving like the wind, their spirits unbreakable. The gardens flourish, feeding the community with abundance, as Yoda's ideas for cooperation and Genghis's grit turn scarcity into growth. Above, in the heavenly lounge, Bookchin and Kropotkin watch with pride, their teacups raised in a cosmic toast. Bookchin beaming, his starry sketches of Rojava glowing brighter as he watches. Look at them, Kropotkin. Yoda and Genghis are making Rojava shine. Those councils, pure communalism, every voice a spark just like I dreamed. Yoda's ideas are perfect. Deep listening, balanced connection. Genghis' strength, those fighters move like a storm and the gardens are blooming. Rojava's enduring, growing, my heart's on fire, I ain't hate it. She'd call it a hippie commune, write a 500-page monologue to bury them. But they're proving her wrong. Liberty with roots, warm and alive. Kropotkin tearing up with joy, his beard twinkling as he raises his teacup. My mutual aid, evolved by you, Murray, and now alive in Rojava. My heart's bursting. Yoda's warmth, Genghis's grit. They're the perfect pair to help them thrive. Those councils, those gardens, those fighters, all building together, no bosses, just comrades. I ain't call it a moocher's paradise. She'd write a 500-page monologue to scorn their sharing. But it's working. Rojava's a beacon, a living dream. Let's toast to their growth. May their experiment light the world. Back on Earth, Yoda and Genghis Khan stand on a hill overlooking Rojava, the communes glowing with life, the people united in their fight for freedom. The sun sets, casting a warm glow over the land, a symbol of the warm side of liberty they've helped nurture. Yoda looking out at the communes, his eyes soft with pride as he taps his cane. Grow, Rojava does, strong they are. Warm liberty we bring, connection, balance, freedom for all. Jedi way, this is, not one but many shining bright. Enemies they come, courage they have. Endure they will, thrive they must. Ein cold she'd sell this land, But warm we are, together we win. Genghis my friend, proud I am. Rojava a light it is. Genghis Khan standing tall, his fur-lined robe fluttering in the wind as he grins. A horde of freedom. Rojava's my steppe reborn. Their councils, their fighters, their gardens. They fight like my clans, united, fierce, no king above them. Yoda's ideas, my strength. We've helped them endure, helped them grow. I'd call this a beggar's dream. She'd write a 500-page monologue to bury their spirit. But they'll rise. Liberty with a horde's heart, warm and strong. I'd ride with them any day, little Jedi. To Rojava's future, may their dream conquer the world. The scene ends with Yoda and Genghis Khan joining the Rojava locals for a communal meal under the stars, laughter and stories echoing across the land. Above, Bookchin and Kropotkin clink their teacups, their starry lounge glowing with hope, the constellation of Rojava shining brighter than ever, a beacon of warm libertarian freedom enduring and growing on Earth. Scene: Yoda and Genghis Khan devise a plan to counter drone attacks in Rojava. The sun rises over Rojava, casting a golden glow on the communes where the people have been thriving with the help of Yoda and Genghis Khan. The councils are stronger, the fighters move like the wind thanks to Genghis's steppe tactics, and the gardens bloom with abundance. But a new shadow looms. Turkish drones, deployed by forces opposed to Rojava's autonomy, have been striking from the skies, targeting supply routes, fighters, and even civilians. The brave people of Rojava, bolstered by Genghis's lessons, stand firm. But drones are a foe no traditional fighter can easily stop. Yoda and Genghis gather with the Rojava locals to devise a plan, while Bookchin and Kropotkin watch anxiously from the heavenly lounge, their starry constellation of Rojava flickering with every drone strike. Layla, the Rojava local co-leader, her face etched with determination as she addresses Yoda and Genghis. Our fighters are stronger than ever thanks to you, Genghis. Your tactics have made them swift and fierce like a storm on the steppe. And Yoda, your ideas have united our councils. Every voice shines, and our community glows with the warm side of liberty. But these drones, they strike from above without warning. Turkey's forces use them to hit our supply routes, our fighters, even our people protesting for peace. Just last month, they hit a market in Sarin. 8 dead, over 20 injured. They even struck an ambulance. Her voice cracks with anger. We can't fight what we can't reach. We need a plan, a good one, to stop these drones, or at least survive them. Can you help us? Yoda tapping his cane on the ground, his ears twitching as he gazes at the sky with a furrowed brow. Drones. A challenge they are. Coward's weapon, striking from afar, Like Darth Vader, Turkey's leader is strong hand they rule, yes? Loyal ones they favor, shadows of power. They cast, not for all, but for their circle, Chuckles softly, force I cannot use here. Metaphysical, it stays in heaven. But mind brilliant I have, Jedi way I bring, think we must, clever and wise. Drones they fly, see us they do before strike, yes? Hide, we can, confuse them we will. Rojava strong you are, braver you become, plan I have, warm liberty we protect. Together, we endure, He nods, his eyes twinkling with a spark of ingenuity. Genghis Khan clenching his fists, his fur-lined robe billowing as he scans the horizon like a hawk, a foe that strikes from the sky. Cowards, hiding behind machines. On the steppe we'd ride under the stars, unseen, striking before they knew we were there. But these drones, they're like vultures, picking at us from above. Layla, your fighters are a horde now, swift, fierce, united. But Yoda's right, no sword can cut a drone from the sky. We need a new kind of battle, one of wits, not just strength. My Yasa taught me to adapt, to turn the enemy's strength into weakness. Let's hear Yoda's plan, I'll add my grit to it. We'll make these drones useless, and Rojava will stand tall. I'd call us doomed. She'd write a 500-page monologue to mock our defiance. But we'll show her. Liberty with a horde's heart, warm and cunning. Layla nodding, her hope rekindled as she gestures to a map of Rojava on a table. We're ready to fight however we can. Wit, strength, anything. The drones come from the north. Turkey's forces, the SNA, they've been relentless since Assad's fall. They hit Kobane's countryside, Tal Tamir, even the Tishreen Dam, trying to cut us off. We've started using our own FPV drones to strike back, small, homegrown ones, hitting their armored vehicles, forcing them to retreat sometimes. But their drones keep coming, Turkish jets too lately. We need a way to survive their attacks, maybe even turn the tables. What's your plan, Yoda? Yoda, pointing at the map with his cane, his voice steady as he lays out his strategy. Clever we must be. Like Jedi hiding from Sith, Drones they see, cameras, sensors they use. First we hide, camouflage we make. Nets we weave, cover villages, supply routes, fighters' paths. Leaves, branches, colors of earth, blend we do, invisible from sky. Second we trick, decoys we build. Fake camps, fake trucks. Drone strike there, not here, yes. Third we move, night. We use like Genghis riders. Dark our friend, drones see less, strike less. Fourth we learn, watch drones, their patterns, their times. Predict we can, prepare we will. Warm liberty this is, not fight but endure, grow. He taps the map, his ears perked with confidence. Genghis Khan grinning, his eyes lighting up as he adds to Yoda's plan with his warrior's instinct. A plan worthy of the steppe, little Jedi? Hiding, tricking, moving under the stars. I've done this against Khans who thought they'd crush my horde. Let's make those nets. Cover every commune, every route, like a forest from above. The decoys, I'll have the fighters build them, wooden frames, old tarps. Let the drones waste their strikes on nothing. Night movements, I'll train the supply teams to ride like my clan, swift and unseen, delivering food, weapons, hope under the moon, and patterns. My scouts will watch the skies, track their flights, learn their ways. We'll know when they come, where they strike, we'll be ready. If their drones can't find us, they can't hurt us. And those FPV drones of yours, Layla, use them to hit back, strike their bases, their supplies, make them fear our sting. I ain't call this a coward's game. She'd write a 500-page monologue to scorn our tricks. But we'll win. Liberty with cunning, warm and fierce. Layla, her face brightening as she absorbs the plan, her hands tracing the map. This could work. Camouflage, decoys, night movements, scouting their patterns. It's not just fighting, it's outsmarting them. We've already got some nets up, but we'll make more. Cover everything, like you said. The decoys we can start tonight, build fake camps near Kobane, draw their strikes away from our people. Moving at night, we've done some, but we'll do more, like your riders, Genghis. And we'll watch the skies, learn their drone routes, be ready. Our FPV drones, they've hit SNA vehicles before, force them back. We'll use them to strike their supply lines, make them think twice. You've given us hope, Yoda, Genghis. Rojava will endure and will grow stronger. The warm side of liberty, it's worth every fight. The scene shifts to a flurry of activity in Rojava. The people work together, weaving nets with leaves and branches, draping them over communes and supply routes until they blend into the earth from above. Fighters and children alike build decoys, fake trucks and camps that look real from the sky but are nothing more than wood and cloth. At night, supply teams move like Genghis's riders, swift and silent under the stars, delivering food and medicine unseen. Scouts watch the skies, noting the drone's patterns, times, routes, targets, allowing Rojava to prepare, to hide, to strike back with their FPV drones when the moment's right. Above, in the heavenly lounge, Bookchin and Kropotkin watch with pride. their teacups raised as the starry constellation of Rojava glows brighter. Bookchin beaming, his starry sketches of Rojava shimmering as he watches the plan unfold. Look at them, Kropotkin! Yoda and Genghis are pure genius. Camouflage, decoys, night movements. It's communalism with cunning. Rojava's outsmarting those drones, protecting their councils, their gardens, their people. Turkey's forces thought they'd crush them, but they're stronger than ever. My heart's soaring. This is social ecology in action, adapting, enduring, growing. I'd call it a hippie trick. She'd write a 500-page monologue to bury their ingenuity. But they're proving her wrong. Liberty with roots, warm and alive. Kropotkin laughing, his beard twinkling with starry crumbs as he clinks his teacup with Bookchin's my mutual aid, your communalism, and now Yoda's mind and Genghis's grit. It's a revolution of wits, Murray. Rojava's a living dream, hiding, tricking, striking back, all while building together, no bosses, just comrades. Those drones can't stop their spirit. They're enduring, growing, shining brighter every day. I'd call it a moocher scam. She'd write a 500-page monologue to scorn their unity. But it's working. Rojava's a beacon for the world. Let's toast to their survival. May their experiment thrive against all odds. Back on Earth, Yoda and Genghis Khan stand on a hill overlooking a camouflage commune, the nets blending seamlessly with the Earth. A fake camp in the distance drawing a drone strike that misses its true target. A Rojava FPV drone buzzes off into the night, striking an SNA supply line, forcing the enemy to retreat. The people of Rojava gather for a communal meal under the stars, their laughter echoing as they celebrate their resilience. Yoda watching the commune, his eyes soft with pride as he taps his cane. Endure. Rojava does, stronger, they grow. Drones, they strike, cunning we are. Warm liberty we protect. Connection, balance, freedom for all. Jedi way, this is not fight but outsmart, Turkey, SNA, fear they bring. Hope we give. Rojava, a light it is, shine it will. Genghis, my friend, proud I am. Together we win, yes? Genghis Khan grinning, his fur-lined robe glowing in the moonlight as he raises a piece of bread in salute. A horde of cunning. Rojava's my steppe reborn. Those drones thought they'd break us, but we've turned their strength into weakness. Nets, decoys, night rides, strikes of our own, they can't touch us now. Your mind, Yoda, it's sharper than my saber. Layla, your people, they fight like my clans, fierce and united, no king above them. I'd call this a coward's game. She'd write a 500-page monologue to bury our tricks. But we'll rise. Liberty with the horde's heart, warm and clever, to Rojava's future. May their dream conquer the skies. The scene ends with Yoda and Genghis Khan joining the Rojava locals for their meal, the stars above twinkling like the constellation in the heavenly lounge, a symbol of hope, resilience, and the warm side of liberty. Rojava endures, its experiment growing stronger with every challenge. A beacon of freedom in a world of drones and danger. Scene, Yoda and Genghis Khan advocate for diplomatic pressure on Turkey. The communes of Rojava buzz with resilience under the morning sun. Nets of camouflage drape over villages, decoy camps sit in. The distance and supply teams move like shadows at night, all thanks to Yoda and Genghis Khan's clever strategy. The people's FPV drones have struck back at SNA supply lines, forcing retreats, but Turkish drones still loom in the sky. A constant threat to Rojava's dream of direct democracy, equality, and ecological living. Layla, the local co-leader, gathers with Yoda and Genghis in a hidden council tent, maps and reports spread before them. Above in the heavenly lounge, Bookchin and Kropotkin watch with bated breath, their starry constellation of Rojava flickering with every drone strike. Yoda, with his brilliant mind, and Genghis, with his strategic grit, propose a new plan, leveraging U.S. diplomatic pressure, inspired by past sanctions efforts to force Turkey to back off. Layla spreading a report on the table, her voice steady but urgent. Your strategy's working wonders. Yoda, Genghis, our communes are harder to hit. Our fighters strike back with FPV drones, and we're moving supplies at night like Genghis's riders. Turkey's SNA allies are frustrated. We've even forced some retreats. But the drones keep coming. Turkey's Bayraktar TB2S, their jets, they hit Saran last month, killed 8, injured over 20, even struck an ambulance. We're enduring, but we need more than clever tactics to stop this. We've got allies in the US. The SDF has worked with them against ISIS. In 2019, US senators pushed sanctions on Turkey when they invaded our lands, and it worked. They were heard, and Turkey paused. In 2024, Senators Van Hollen Graham advocated for continuing those sanctions with the Countering Turkish Aggression Act, but they weren't heard, and the bill didn't pass. Maybe we can push the US to act again. Diplomacy might be our shield where swords can't reach. Yoda tapping his cane on the ground, his ears twitching as he nods thoughtfully. Wise you are, Layla. Cunning we have been, but drones they strike still. Jedi mind, I use diplomacy. A new weapon it is. US allies you have. SDF strong with them, Sanctions they worked. 2019 Turkey pause, yes? Van Hollen Graham 2024, they spoke but heard, they were not. Countering Turkish Aggression Act they called it. Ceasefire, demilitarized zone they wanted. Pressure we can bring. US a shield it becomes. Rojava a light it is. Warm liberty we protect. Plan I have. Message we send to US leaders to SDF friends. Sanctions we ask. Turkey they stop or pay. Together we grow. Endure we must. Genghis Khan slamming his fist on the table, his eyes blazing with a warrior's fire. A battle of wits and words. I like it, little Jedi. On the steppe, we'd ride and strike, but sometimes we'd parley with foes, make them fear our allies' wrath. Layla, your fighters are a horde now, swift, fierce, united, but drones are a coward's weapon, striking from skies we can't touch. We've outsmarted them with nets and decoys, but Yoda's right, we need a bigger shield. The US has power. Sanctions in 2019 made Turkey flinch, forced a ceasefire when Van Hollen Graham were heard. In 2024, they tried again, countering Turkish Aggression Act, but they weren't listened to, and Turkey kept striking. If they act now in 2025, Turkey'll back off. They can't fight your spirit and US pressure. Let's send a message, rally the SDF, your US allies, make them see Rojava's worth. I'd call this begging, she'd write a 500-page monologue to scorn our alliances. But we'll win. Liberty with a horde's heart, warm and cunning. Layla, her eyes lighting up with renewed hope as she pulls out a satellite phone. You're right. Diplomacy could be our edge. The US has 900 troops here, working with the SDF against ISIS. They know our value. In 2019, Van Hollen Graham's sanctions bill targeted Turkey's leaders, banks, even their military deals. It forced a pause when they were heard, gave us breathing room. In 2024, they pushed the Countering Turkish Aggression Act again, calling for a ceasefire and a demilitarized zone in Kobane, but their voices weren't heeded, and the bill didn't pass. If we can get the US to act now in 2025, to push those sanctions through, Turkey might back off for good. I'll call General Mazlum. He can reach Van Hollen Graham, rally US support. Rojava's dream is worth it, the warm side of liberty for all of us. Let's draft a message, make our case, together we'll make them listen. The scene shifts to a flurry of activity in the hidden tent. Layla, Yoda, and Genghis huddle over the satellite phone, drafting a message to General Maslum Abdi, the SDF leader, to relay to U.S. Senators Van Hollen Graham. Yoda's wisdom shapes the words, emphasizing Rojava's role as a beacon of warm liberty, a living experiment in direct democracy, equality, and ecological living. Genghis adds a warrior's plea, highlighting the commune's resilience and the need for a shield against Turkey's drones. Above, Bukshin and Kropotkin watch, their teacups trembling with anticipation, as the starry constellation of Rojava glows with hope. Yoda dictating to Layla, his voice steady as she types the message. Right, we must clear strong like Jedi, Rojava, a light it is. Direct democracy, equality, ecology we live. Warm liberty we build, a shared dream of freedom we make real. SDF your allies we are, against ISIS we fight together, yes? Drones they strike, Turkey SNA they kill they destroy. Sarin they hit, 8 dead 20 hurt, ambulance they target. Sanctions you did, 2019 they worked you were heard. 2024 you spoke, countering Turkish Aggression Act, but heard you were not. Act now in 2025 we plead, pressure Turkey, stop drones, let Rojava grow. Warm side of liberty we share, help us, US friends, He nods, his ears perked with conviction. Genghis Khan adding his words, his voice booming as he paces the tent. Tell them Rojava fights like a horde, united, fierce, no king above us. We've outsmarted their drones, nets, decoys, night rides, our own strikes, but they keep coming, cowards in the sky. The US knows our worth. 900 troops stand with the SDF fighting ISIS. In 2019, your sanctions made Turkey pause, targeted their leaders, their banks, their military, forced a ceasefire when you were heard. In 2024, you warned them again, countering Turkish Aggression Act. But they didn't listen and Turkey kept striking. We need that shield now in 2025. Sanctions to stop their drones, to let our gardens bloom, our councils shine. Rojava's a step of freedom, don't let it fall to vultures. I'd call us weak, she'd write a 500-page monologue to mock our plea. But we're strong. Liberty with a horde's heart, warm and fierce. He slams his fist on the table, his eyes blazing. Layla finishing the message, her voice steady as she sends it via the satellite phone. It's done. I've sent it to General Mazloum. He'll get it to Van Hollen and Graham, maybe even the U.S. State Department. We've made our case. Rojava's worth. Our fight. The warm side of liberty we're building. The U.S. knows Turkey's aggression risks ISIS rising again. Van Hollen and Graham said so in 2024, warned it threatens global security, but they weren't heard then. If they push those sanctions through now in 2025, Turkey might back off. They can't afford another economic hit, not with their EU tensions and their own drone bases at risk. We'll keep fighting, keep outsmarting them, but this could be our turning point. Thank you, Yoda Genghis. You've given us more than tactics, you've given us hope. The scene shifts to Washington, D.C., where General Mazloum Abdi's message reaches Senators Van Hollen and Graham. The senators, having been ignored in 2024 despite their warnings, are galvanized by Rojava's heartfelt plea for support. They decide to act, pushing the Countering Turkish Aggression Act forward with renewed urgency. And this time, in 2025, they succeed, gaining bipartisan support in the Senate. Back in Rojava, Layla, Yoda, and Genghis wait for news, continuing their work, fortifying nets, training fighters, and tending gardens, while hoping for a diplomatic shield. Above, Bukshin and Kropotkin watch, their teacups trembling with anticipation, as the starry constellation of Rojava glows with hope. Bukshin watching the U.S. Capitol from the heavens, his starry sketches of Rojava shimmering. They've done it. Kropotkin, Yoda and Genghis gave Rojava the spark to reach out. That message, it's pure communalism. A plea for connection, for protection, so their councils can thrive. Van Hollen and Graham are finally heard. In 2019, they forced a ceasefire. But in 2024, their act was ignored. Now in 2025, they've succeeded. A shield for Rojava. My heart's soaring. This is social ecology in action, adapting, enduring, growing through alliances. I'd call it mooching. She'd write a 500-page monologue to bury their plea. But they're proving her wrong. Liberty with roots warm and alive. Kropotkin laughing, his beard twinkling as he raises his teacup. My mutual aid, your communalism, and now Yoda's mind and Genghis's fire. It's a revolution of hearts and words, Murray. Rojava's a living dream, fighting drones with cunning, now fighting with diplomacy, all while building together, no bosses, just comrades. The U.S. sanctions in 2019 gave them space to breathe. But in 2024, Van Hollen and Graham were ignored. Now in 2025, they've won, stopping Turkey's drones, letting Rojava shine. I'd call it a beggar's trick. She'd write a 500-page monologue to scorn their alliances. But it's working. Rojava's a beacon for the world. Let's toast to their survival. May their experiment thrive with this new shield. Back on Earth, days pass and news arrives via the satellite phone. Van Hollen and Graham have succeeded in 2025, pushing the Countering Turkish Aggression Act through with bipartisan support in the Senate. The U.S. State Department issues a statement, warning Turkey of impending sanctions if they don't halt their drone strikes and agree to a ceasefire. Turkey, feeling the pressure, reduces its aerial attacks, giving Rojava a much-needed reprieve. Yoda and Genghis Khan stand with Layla on a hill, watching the skies clear, the communes below glowing with life. Yoda smiling softly, his cane tapping the ground as he looks at the horizon. Shield it comes. U.S. pressure, Turkey feels, Drones, they pause. Rojava, it breathes. Warm liberty we protect. Connection, balance, freedom for all. Jedi way, this is not fight, but ally. Van Hollen Graham, they hear. 2019, they won. 2024, they lost. Now 2025, they triumph. Rojava, a light it is, grow it will. Genghis, my friend, proud I am. Together we win, yes? Genghis Khan grinning, his fur-lined robe glowing in the sunlight as he raises a piece of bread. A horde of freedom. Rojava's my steppe reborn. We outsmarted their drones, and now we've outsmarted their masters. Your mind, Yoda, it's sharper than any saber, calling on allies to shield this dream. Layla, your people, they fight like my clans, fierce and united, no king above them. The US sanctions 2019 they worked, 2024 they failed, but now in 2025 they're a wall Turkey can't climb. I'd call this weakness. She'd write a 500-page monologue to bury our plea. But we'll rise. Liberty with a horde's heart, warm and clever, to Rojava's future, may their dreams soar above the skies. The scene ends with Yoda, Genghis Khan, and Layla joining the Rojava locals for a communal meal under the clear sky, laughter echoing as they celebrate their resilience and the new diplomatic shield. Above, Bookchin and Kropotkin clink their teacups, the starry constellation of Rojava shining brighter than ever, a beacon of warm libertarian freedom, enduring and growing on Earth.